Give it to me like.
Thanks everybody for tuning in to the MilesPod with Miles Shockley. I'm giving you the latest update with Uber Lyft. Let's talk about it. It's November 28th. Just to let you know, I was a former employee of Lyft, and I've done Uber and Lyft since 2015. I wrote a book called Read This If You're Driving Uber, and I also have a online course on Udemy called Take This Class If You Drive for Uber. So if you want to get a quick, very easy to read, easy to follow along course in how to actually do this successfully, go ahead and get those two things. But let's go ahead and get right into the market updates as of Monday, November 28th with this industry. So a great thing has happened over the last couple weeks where Uber has introduced upfront pricing and Lyft has done so as well. Lyft has also introduced getting paid as you're picking up the customer, which is great, or picking up the rider. Uber hasn't done this, but it's been a blessing to see where you're going completely and how much you're going to make on that ride. Now, as a consequence of this freedom, Uber introduced something called Trip Radar, which allows you to quickly snag a ride that some other driver is either deliberating about or has canceled completely. So here's the issue that I have with this weekend. One, there was no incentives, so that sucked. So that didn't entice drivers at all. A number of drivers were actually striking because they have seen the discrepancies with splitting the fares. The commission rates or platform fees that we're paying are astronomical right now because of the upfront pricing. So with that freedom came the crumbling of the rate card system, which is you're getting paid this amount of money per mile per minute and plus a base fee. All that is pretty much done with. And now it's completely up to the company, up to their discretion to generate a price and pay you accordingly. So what have other drivers confirmed, and I've confirmed for myself, that Uber and Lyft can take anywhere between 45 to 65% of your fares, which is just unbelievable and unfair. And the issue that I have with Trip Radar is that, one, it interrupts, it's a visual interruption, and it also doesn't give you a chance to actually see what your options are in a safe way. So even if you have jumped into Trip Radar to see what your options are, the problem is that you will still get your standard rides coming through at the same time. So it interrupts your selection process. And then even if you select a ride from Trip Radar, those typical rides that you would get are still coming in as well. So it overrides, even if you make a selection in Trip Radar, it will override your selection and just give you whatever ride is closest to you at the time. So let's just call it a standard flow. So the standard flow supersedes anything going on in Trip Radar. So it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare trying to do that while you're driving. You almost have to pull over because it's just not safe. So there's a couple things that need to stop right away. And then I'm going to get into how you can combat this, because I don't want this to be a long market update, let's say about 10 minutes. The thing that has to stop with Uber and Lyft, well, first of all, the glaring issue with both of these companies is their customer service. They have detonated their customer service teams. It is no longer the glory days of 2017, 2018, even 2019, where you felt like you had a substantial amount of support and you could actually get help with your issues. All that is gone. It's done with. On both companies, I've had long-standing issues that haven't been resolved for almost a month. No one has responded to it. And when you do talk to somebody, they are an offshore team and they have limited tools. So they can't really do any heavy-duty customer service. You are literally on your own. And no one has time to go into any of these support centers anymore. No one has the time. They don't have the time. Nobody wants to spend 4 hours going into a support center. So they've completely detonated these teams and they need to bring them back because it's really impacting the quality of these companies, and they have no excuse because these are billion-dollar publicly traded companies. And if it was any other company, they would be completely downgraded because of this lack of service. So that needs to change. Second of all, the tools need to stop being limited tools. So if you offer a tool for a driver to use, let them have access to it 24/7. I should be able to use the pause icon or brake icon whenever I want. There are times where this button is enabled or disabled, and it says I can't pause, which is so weird because then all I need to do is go ahead and just stop new requests. So I don't see what the point of that is. Again, it's another issue. It's another moment where you could be driving, trying to do something very simple, and if it doesn't work, it causes you to take a second look, and then you could get into an accident just from not being able to use a simple tool like that pause button, which is the coffee cup icon. Okay, the cash out features. It seems like every week they have some kind of new. They have some type of new way of holding on to your money. It was like one month, it was, you've made too much money this week. Great job, but I can't pay you out all this money. And I'm like, really? You're going to stop me from getting my few $1,000s and you're this billion-dollar company? What is this? No email about it. Nothing telling you that this is coming in the future where you can only partially cash out. What is this garbage? Just to hold on to my money a little bit longer so your quarter looks better? Just so you save on some transaction fees? Well, just don't offer the option at all to cash out if it's that big of a deal. And then now they're putting in maintenance. You cannot cash out on Saturday and Sunday due to maintenance, which is when everybody wants to cash out. Because it's the weekend. So either offer the tools or don't offer it. Quit putting on limitations with these tools because you're going to put a driver into a bad situation where they're counting on these tools to work and they're not. And they're either not going to be able to fill up on their gas, not able to pay their bills. They're going to get into an accident because they have to look again to see why it didn't work. So it's like, it's so frustrating that even the tools, you're being played around with regarding the tools. It's such a shame. And third, lastly, and honestly most important, you got to stop robbing drivers. You have to stop robbing drivers. Taking 45 to 65% of the fare is totally egregious. It's totally egregious. Stop it. We're picking up passengers. We're putting our physical assets on the line. Day in and day out, going into dangerous neighborhoods, putting our lives on the line by being in traffic all day. We're the ones providing customer service, representing the brand. What are you doing? You offer the platform and the payment processing. You handle the money and the platform, and that's all you do. Imagine if Airbnb took 45% of a host's money. VRBO would be the biggest company on the planet if that were the case. They wouldn't be able to survive. So it's better for everyone if you actually entice your drivers with fair rate splits and stop pretending that these quests, these incentives are bonus incentives, when really all you're doing is just giving more of our own money back to us. So just give us our money then. If you're going to give incentives, just give us a better rate. Just say, hey, moving forward, we're taking 25% and that's it. Like it was before. Just take 25%. Okay, I get it. You're the marketing arm. You're doing customer service. You're collecting payments. You're the platform. Take 25%. But you're not actually executing the product or service that you're offering. So therefore, either allow me to make my own rates as an independent contractor, or you pay me a fair price. Because at this point, I have canceled 93% of all requests that have come to me because of how unfairly it has been priced. 93%, meaning, one, I would accept rides if, one, the mileage, if I was getting paid double what the mileage was. So if the total ride was 3 miles, I would take it if I was getting paid $6 for 3 miles. And I still had a hard time finding rides that fit that. Then my other option was, well, I want to be paid $1 a minute, which of course was almost impossible. There was only a few rides where I was actually getting paid $1 a minute or a little bit more. And you can imagine what the passenger was paying in those scenarios. And lastly, which is baffling to me, I finally lowered my standards completely. And I said, okay, if the price of the ride, if I'm getting paid at least half of the total duration of the ride. So if the ride was 10 minutes, if I'm getting paid $5, I would take it. I'll accept it. Still canceling rides left and right. What I saw instead was driving 24 minutes for $6, driving 50 minutes for $8, for $12. So let's just say I get a 40-minute ride and it pays $14, which is typical now. I only have 20 minutes left in that hour to make an additional amount to basically say, hey, this is my wage for the hour. So all I could probably do within that last 20 minutes is get maybe a $6 to $8 ride, which in that scenario would put me at $20, not including my expenses. So coming out and publicly saying that drivers make $37 an hour when you're paying drivers now $6 for a 40-minute ride, essentially, is just completely wrong on so many levels. Like, this has to stop. So let's get into the solutions, and we're actually running out of time. We've gone past my allotted time, but I got so heated this weekend. It was such a rough weekend. I mean, canceling 93% of all rides is just ridiculous. But it's because none of these rides were worth it. They were all underpaying people. This is why drivers were striking. This is why so many other drivers were canceling this weekend, because they're just not paying you enough money. And they're not realizing that if you pay drivers what's fair, we're going to do right by you, and we're going to go out there for much longer and take on more passengers, which means more revenue for you. But if you continue to be greedy and not be creative in finding different ways for you to make money as a company, you're going to sour and destroy the people that are literally creating your company and keeping it alive, which are drivers. It's not you. Guess what? Engineer, you programmer, you MIT, Harvard, Stanford graduate, it's not you, dude. It's not you. You're not the one who's making this company run. You're not. It's me. It's them. It's the drivers that you talk crap about every day. Yeah, the complainers, the whiners. F the drivers. F us. We run the company. We make it. We bring in the money. You're not it. You're a piece of the puzzle. That's it. But you're not moving the whole thing. That's it. We're bringing in the money. We're making the company move. We provide the customer service. We're the face of the company, not you. So while you're sitting there getting your 6-figure salary and good for you, God bless you, don't sit there and find ways to cheat us out of a couple extra dollars. So here's the deal. Moving forward, this is what I recommend for you to do in this season that we're in if you're driving. First of all, definitely go get my ebook. Read this if you drive for Uber. Get the class. Take this class if you drive for Uber. All that is online. You can go to my website, milesshockley.com or heysmartybooks.com. Okay? So first of all, you need to get those two things. But this is what I recommend. You're going to have to expend the energy and the fortitude to judge very strictly which rides you accept moving forward. If they offer incentives, great, go for them. Accept rides that are less than 20 minutes or less, and take less than 10 minutes to get to the first pickup location. Accept all those, because at least you get your time back, and you can continue to rack up the number of rides because they're short. So go for short rides when there are incentives available. If there are no incentives available, or if a larger ride comes in, accept it if it is at least paying you double what the total mileage is of the ride. So you're going to have to do math fast in your head, or it's paying you $1 a minute. So if the ride says it's 43 minutes for the total ride, then it should pay you $43. And then work your tips, man. Do whatever you can to give your passengers a great experience, because that's really going to make the difference right now. Also, you need to ramp up your side hustle stuff. You have to know that as they continue to create the illusions of freedom, you have to actually be creating your own freedom now. You have to be marketing a side business, whether it's cutting hair, whether it's snow removal, whatever it is. You have to start advertising your services to your passengers more aggressively in times like this. So that's what I recommend. Airport focus when there's not too many drivers there, because those are guaranteed solid rides. Okay. And stick to being very, very picky about which rides you accept moving forward. So that's the market update. Sorry for going over. Can't wait to talk to you guys tomorrow. God bless. And check out everything on the Miles Pod at milesshockley.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. So go to milesshockley.com. Go ahead and get your book today, and go ahead and get the online course. It's the easiest online course you'll ever take, and the most beneficial to making sure that you are a 100K plus driver. So talk to you later. God bless.
Give it to me like